When Yaakov Avinu blessed Yosef, it says in the Chumash, Vayevorech es Yosef vayoymach. And Yaakov blessed Yosef and he said, O Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov, Elokim, that my fathers went in front of him, Avraham veYitzchak. My fathers, Avraham and Yitzchak, who went in front of the Rebbeinu Shel Olam. O Elokim oroi oisi, O Elokim, who is my shepherd, me'oidi, since I exist, ad hayoyim hazeh, until this day. Hamalach hagoy oisi mikol ro, the angel that saves me from all evil. Yevorech es hanaorim, let the Rebbeinu Shel Olam bless the young lads. Ve'yikore vohem shemi, and my name should be called on them. B'shem avoisai, in the name of my fathers, Avraham veYitzchak, ve'yidgu loroiv, and they should multiply like fish, bekerev oretz, in the land. So on this pasuk, Vayevorech es Yosef vayoymach, o Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov. That's what Yaakov Avinu had to say before the brachos. Why didn't he give the brachos straight out? O Elokim yevorech es hanaorim. Let HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless the young lads. Why does he have to make all this preface? O Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov, Avraham veYitzchak. Why is it necessary to remind us that who is Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov? My forefathers were going in front of him, and to mention Elokim oroi oisi me'oidi ad hayoyim hazeh, with my shepherd from since I exist until this day. Why does it need to this hakdome, this preface, before benching Ephraim and Menashe? Then there is another question. When you bench someone, usually you mention the Shem Havaya. In Birkas Kohanim, Yevorechecho Hashem, Shem Havaya, V'yishmerecha. Yoer Hashem pono ve'elecho v'choneko, Shem Havaya. Yisu Hashem pono ve'elecho v'yosem lecho sholoi. Again Shem Havaya, because Shem Havaya, that is Midas Rachamim. And when you bench somebody, you want to bench him with Midas HaChesed, with Midas Rachamim, not with Midas Adin. Whoever has heard someone benching someone else with Midas Adin. Elokim should bench. Elokim yevorech es hanaorim. And here he mentions twice Elokim. And then a question which somebody pointed out to me yesterday night in the Koilel, Mr. Rebbe Kiva Halpern, I think. I'm not sure. How can you say, Amaloch hagoy oisi mikol ro yevorech es hanaorim? The angel that saves me from all evil should bless the young lads. We can't ask a malach to bless. Malach hagoy oisi mikol ro yevorech es hanaorim? A malach? Elokim should bless, but not a malach. You don't ask a malach to bench. A malach cannot bench somebody. A malach is the shliach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He cannot bench. Well, this question, just because I'm speaking about the questions, I'm telling you this question. I don't know if I'm going to find an answer for that. But on this pasuk, there's a medrash which also needs explaining. And in the same time, we'll be able to understand the pasuk. The medrash Rabo Vayevorech es Yosef vayoymach. The Midrash Rabbo brings a machlekes, a dispute between two Amoroim, two sages, Rabbi Berechio b'shem Rabbi Yochanan b'Reish Lakish. A machlokes, a dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan Omar. Rabbi Yochanan says, what does it mean? O Eloikim asher ishalchu avoisai. Eloikim, that my fathers went along in front of him. What does it mean? What does it mean my fathers went along in front of him? Says Rabbi Yochanan, Leroy, it's a moshel, comparison to a shepherd, shehu oimed umabit betzoinoi. He compares HaKadosh Baruch Hu to a shepherd who stands and watches over his flock. A shepherd that stands and watches over his flock, we have seen that in the Wales. Sometimes when you go in the country, we see shepherds. The shepherd always stands behind the flock. When he wants to move the flock from one pasture to another, then the flock goes in front, and the shepherd goes behind with the help of his dogs, of course. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Avoisai asher isalchu, o Eloikim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov, o Eloikim, that my fathers went along in front of him. Rabbi Yochanan says, my fathers are compared to a flock who are going in front of the shepherd. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish Omar, Reish Lakish says, no, I disagree with you. I've got another comparison, which is more suitable than yours. Le Nossi, that is a king, Mahalech, who goes, V'azkenim lefonov. When the king goes in the procession in front of to show to his people, then the Zekenim, the ministers, the advisors, go in front of the king, and the king goes behind. So they both agree that Avoisai, my fathers, because it says in the Pasuk, who went in front of Elokim. But how do they go in front of Elokim? That is the machlokes. That is the dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, which the Medrash brings here. Is it like a flock that goes in front of the shepherd, and the shepherd with HaKadosh Baruch Hu watches over his flock? Or is it like a king that goes after his ministers? The ministers go in front, and the king goes behind. And the Midrash explains what is it all about this. Al daited Rabbi Yochanan, the reason of Rabbi Yochanan, why does he compare the Oves HaKadoshim to a flock? Onu tzrichim lechvoidoi. Because we need the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The same as a shepherd, the same as a flock needs a shepherd, we need the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We need the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to protect us. That's the logic of Rabbi Yochanan. Al daited Reish Lakish, the logic of Reish Lakish, who compares the Oves HaKadoshim to the ministers, to the advisors of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, hu tzorich lichvoideinu. Reish Lakish says, Rabbeinu Shalom, I would rather say, the Rabbeinu Shalom needs our kavod more than we need his kavod. That's why I compare the Oves HaKadoshim to the ministers, the advisors who go in front of the king. Because the king needs his ministers, needs his advisors to rule his country. So therefore, Oelikim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov, my fathers went in front of him. Says Reish Lakish, I rather would compare the Oves HaKadoshim to the advisor of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes behind. In the procession, the king goes behind, first the advisors, and then the king goes behind. Why? Because Hu tzorich lichvoideinu, he needs our kavod. The Rabbeinu Shalom needs our kavod more than we need his kavod. So that is the dispute between Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan says, we need his kavod like a flock needs his shepherd, And Resh Lakish says, no, he needs our covet, and therefore the comparison of the shepherd with the flock is not suitable. I rather give the comparison of the ministers, the advisors, who go in front of the king. That is the Medrash. So we have to understand this Medrash because what's all about? To make a dispute, to make a machlokes, or Elokim. When we read the pasuk, this is so easy to understand. O Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov Avrom v'Yitzchok. O Elokim that my fathers went along in front of him. Would we have a dispute? Would we argue? What does it mean? What does it mean, my fathers that went along the Rebbeinu Shalom? Whether we need his covet or he needs our covet. What is relevant here? And why should Resh Lakish disagree with Rabbi Yochanan? Of course, we are a flock. We say Mizmor LeDavid Hashem Roi Lo Echsor Atem Tzoini Tzoin Marisi Amoi v'Tzoin Mariso. In many psukim in Tehillim we compare the Klal Yisrael to a flock, Rabbi Yishom to a shepherd. So why suddenly Resh Lakish here feels like disagreeing with Rabbi Yochanan and saying, no, not like a flock, not like a shepherd. Here it's not suitable. Why is it not suitable? When Yaakov Avinu wants to bench the children of Yosef, so he says, Elokim is our shepherd. I beg from Elokim, he should bless the young lads. Because he is the almighty shepherd and he looks well after his flock. What is it wrong about that? Why should we here bring ministers with advisors with the king? What has it got to do with? Why should he disagree? Say that he needs our covet. But now he's asking a bracha from the Rebbeinu Shalom. So he needs the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's not the place not to say the Rebbeinu Shalom needs our covet. And what does it mean, Rebbeinu Shalom needs our covet? Well, what does it mean that? He needs our covet. He doesn't need anything, Rebbeinu Shalom. Another question. Yaakov Avinu says when he speaks about the Ovis, about his fathers, Avrom Yitzchok, he says, but there is a machlokes, whether it is like a flock, whether like it is ministers of the king. But when he speaks about himself, Elokim, or roe, or see, there is no ekivok, there is no doubt. There is no doubt whether it is a flock. Or Elokim, or roe, or see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is my shepherd, me'oidi ad hayom hazeh. So here he says it openly about himself. I am the flock, and Rebbe Shalom is my shepherd. So why just for the Ovis Avrom Yitzchok? No, it's different. For the Ovis, it's different. For the Ovis, maybe they're like advisor, like ministers, not like a flock. For me, it's good enough. For me, yes. For me, he is a shepherd. In order to understand this Medrash, I'm going to bring another one. Tonight is going to be a bit worky-outy. On Vayechi Yaakov. Yaakov settled be'eretz megure oviv be'eretz Canaan. The Medrash says, Achoise bi yinchal oretz, is a pasuk that says, the one who trusts me shall inherit the land. It's pasuk in Yeshaya, on Zayin. Zei Yaakov, that refers to Yaakov, who settled in Eretz Megure Oviv Be'eretz Canaan. Vayeshev Yaakov. Vayeshev, in the word Vayeshev Yaakov, yeshiva means settling, as the opposite to Vayogor, like a stranger who is just passing by. Vayeshev is Loshen Toishev, is Yashvus. That means he settles tranquilly, definitely. Vayeshev Yaakov. On this we say, Vachoise bi, the one that trusts me, Yinchal Eretz, shall inherit the land. He's the owner of the land. He's a toishev. He's a person who owns the land. That is Yankov. Nosu ve'en roidef Roshe, but the one that runs away and there's no one who pursues him is a Roshe. Ve'tzadikim kakfir yiftach. It's a pasuk in Mishlech of Ches. And the tzadikim, they are trusting Hashem like a young lion. What does it mean? Ora krishio velo radefin lei. The Roshe runs away, no one pursues him. He's so panicked. He's so afraid. He's afraid even when there's no reason to be afraid. Nosu ve'en roidef. They run away and there's no one running after them. Roshe. Who is that? That is Esav. The tzadikim kakfir yiftach. But the tzadikim, they are trusting Hashem like a young lion. As Rav Victor Miller Shlita says, a young lion, dafke, not an old lion. Because the difference is that a young lion has got chutzpah, he's cocky, he says. I found it later on the Medrash, Gur Aryeh Yehuda, on this week's Sedre, this Shabbos, the Medrash Shabbos says, Take, Gur Aryeh is a young lion. He has given him the power of an old lion, Aryeh, and a Gur Aryeh, the chutzpah of a young lion. A young lion is a bit too courageous. He is a chutzpahdik, he's cocky. But the tzaddikim have so much bitochen, they are cocky. They're not afraid. The tzaddikim kakfir yiftoch, because they have somebody very mighty on whom to rely. And then the Medrash says, Vayeshev Yankov. So what do we see from this Medrash? Vayeshev Yankov, the words Vayeshev Yankov is a praise for Yankov Avinu. That means Yankov Avinu has bitochen. Yankov Avinu is settling in Eretz Yisrael, he's not afraid. Esav, his brother, runs away to Seir. No one wants him any bad, but he runs away. Although no one, he doesn't feel at ease here. So he runs away. Good. Yankov has got bitochen. Later on, Chazal say, it's a Bavusta Medrash, a very well-known Medrash. Vayeshev Yankov, Omar Avache. B'shosha tzadikim yoshvim shalvo. When the tzadikim want to settle tranquilly, umevakshim leishev b'shalvo b'olam hazeh, and they want to rest, to have some peace in olam hazeh, asoton bo mekatrek. The Satan comes and accuses them. Omar, and he says, Lo dayin shu mesukim loim lo'olam habo. Is it not enough they've got peace in olam habo after 120 years? Elo shehem mevakshim leishev. Young when you live longer than 20 years. Lo dayin shu mesukim loim lo'olam habo. Elo shehem mevakshim leishev b'shalvo b'olam hazeh. No, they want peace in olam hazeh. It's not enough they've got peace in olam habo. They want peace in olam hazeh as well. Yankov Avinu al yedei shebikesh leishev b'shalvo b'olam hazeh nizdavek lo sitno shel Yosef Vayeshev Yankov. It's a bad point to Yankov, because Yankov wanted to settle, want to at long last have a bit of peace after all his tzores with Esav, with Lavan, with Dinah, and after all that he wants at least now I can have a bit of peace. No. The Satan is mekatrek. When the tzaddikim want to have peace in this world, the Satan accuses and he tells Rabbi Shalom, is it not enough that they will have menucha in olam habo? I don't agree. And because of that, Kof Hasolov, Urgzo Shel Yosef. The story straight after Vayeshev Yankov, Yosef, there was the quarrel between Yosef and his brothers, and he was sold, Vayisabel al beno yomim rabim. During 22 years, Yankov Avinu was an ovel. Rachmana litzlan. Posak mimenu ruach hakodesh. He had no ruach hakodesh. He was the most unhappy man on earth. Well, all that why? Because Bikesh Yankov leishev b'shalvo b'olam hazeh. Because Yankov wanted a bit of shalvo, a bit of peace in this world. So here we have a contradiction in the same pasuk, Vayechi Yankov, we start in the same medrash. We start saying it's a big shevach, it's a big quality for Yankov Avinu, Vayechi Yankov, because Va'choisei b'yin chaloretz, because that shows that Yankov was a bal bitochen. He was like a young lion who is trusting Hashem Yisburach, and therefore he's confident, he's trusting, and he settles, and he's not afraid of anything. At the same time, we say, oh, wait a minute. What? You want peace in Olam Hazeh? There is no peace in Olam Hazeh. Only Nisyanis. If you don't understand that, I'll teach you. Thank you. So how do we understand now this medrash? Do we have to have peace in Olam Hazeh? As mach bitochen, on the basis of bitochen, or we are not allowed to have peace? Are we allowed to sleep at night tranquil without taking any pills? We are not allowed. Is that the matter? What does it mean, the medrash? We criticize Yankov Avinu because he wanted some peace. And we just said that peace, that was from bitochen. So why do we criticize him? Here lies a very important point which concerns bitochen. There's a pasuk, Roitze, which we say in Psuke de Zimro every morning. Roitze Hashem es Yereyov es ham yachalim lechazdoi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants those who fear him, those who hope for his chesed, for his kindness. And there is another pasuk which says the same. Inein Hashem el Yereyov. The eye of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching, is protecting those who fear him. Lam yachalim lechazdoi. Those who hope for his kindness. And another pasuk. Yichazdech Hashem oleinu. Let your kindness be on us. Hashem. Ka'asher yichalnu loch. The same as we have hoped for your kindness. And here we learn, the Alter of Nevardek in Madrigas Odom learns the base of bitochen is, as much as you rely and you hope for the kindness of the Rebbeinu Shloilom, as much so, you'll get it. Yehi chazdech Hashem oleinu, ka'asher yichalnu loch. As once in the Shul of Gateshead, must have been 1952, and Rav Dessler was saying a droshe, in the Shul of Gateshead. And I heard him saying, a lot of people say this pasuk, Yichazdech Hashem oleinu, ka'asher yichalnu loch. They don't realize they are asking for a klol and not for a broche. Why? Because in this pasuk we say, let your kindness be on us, Rebbeinu Shalom, as much as we rely on your kindness, as much as we hope for your kindness. How much do we hope for the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How much do we hope for the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and how much do we hope for the kindness of people? For certain people, he said, Rav Dessler, they don't know what they're saying with their mouth. As much as you hope for Hashem Yisborach, hope, kavel Hashem, b'chol libecho. Chazak v'yamet libecho. V'kavel Hashem, Chazal say. If you are hoping for Hashem, you pray to Hashem, and He doesn't answer you. And then chazor v'kaveh, hope again. Forever. Until when, say Chazal, you have to hope for Hashem? Forever. Me'ato ve'adoilo. So we see from this pasuk, Roitze Hashem es Yereyov, a condition of bitochen is to fear Hashem. Always, first Yereyov, Roitze Hashem es Yereyov, and then Esham Yachalim L'chazdoi, and then those who hope for His kindness. You can't hope for the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu unless you fear Him first. Why? First of all, there is a phrase in the Ramban, Sefer Ha'emunah V'Habitochen. The Ramban says, Kol boteach ma'amin. Anybody that has trust in Hashem forcibly is a ma'amin. He has got faith in Hashem. You can't have bitochen without having faith first. First you have to be ma'amin, to believe that Rabbeinu Shalom is almighty, the only one. No one else, nothing else can move besides him. You have to believe that the Rabbeinu Shalom is mashgiach, is surveying, protecting us. After you believe like that, you can trust him. You have to believe in his kindness. He loves us. He has pity on us, like the Chovos HaLevavos says. And then you can trust Hashem. But lo kol ma'amin boteach. Not all those who have emunah can trust Hashem. There are certain people who have emunah, they have faith, but they don't have bitochen. Why? Why can certain people have emunah and not have bitochen? Says the Madrigas Odom, the Alter Navadlik says, because someone can have emunah, meaning, I believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu goyimel schar le'oisei mitzvoisov. He gives a reward and he protects the tzaddikim. Uma'anish, and he gives punishment lo reshoim, to the reshoim. That's the base of our emunah. Schar ve'oinish. That's the 11th ikar of the Yud Gimel Ikra emunah of the Rambam, which are printed after Olinu Shabeach in the Siddur. And because I am ma'amin in schar ve'oinish, because I am ma'amin, the Rebbeinu Shalom rewards those who do the mitzvahs and punishes those who transgress the mitzvahs. Dafke, because of that, I can't be tranquil. I deserve to be punished. Who can say, I'm a tzaddik gomer? Who has got a clear conscience? Who doesn't feel guilty feelings? We all do. Most of the time. And we know someone who doesn't have a clear conscience, he's afraid. Pachadu b'tzion chatoim. The Rishoyim have got pachad in the heart. We are afraid. We are afraid. I might deserve chas v'shom to be punished. Therefore, says the Madrigas Odom, lo kol ma'amin boteach. Not all those who have faith can trust Hashem. Not all those who have faith can sleep ruhig, can be tranquil. Because that is what bitochen is all about, the tranquility of mind. Chovos HaLevavos says that the definition of bitochen is menuchas nefesh haboteach. To have a peace of mind, complete peace of mind. How can you have peace of mind if you know you are guilty? That's why the Rambam says, lo kol ma'amin boteach. So what have you got to add on your emunah in order to have peace of mind? What is the step you have to go from emunah to bitochen? Says Madrigas Odom. The step you have to make between emunah and bitochen is that you have to believe that even if you do not deserve to be protected and to be helped and to be saved and to be cured because of your bad actions, because you are Rosh Chas v'Sholem, because you are not a tzaddik, because you deserve punishment and Yisurim b'Olam Hazeh, like we know. Even the tzaddikim sometimes are punished in Olam Hazeh. So where can you have bitochen? You have to have bitochen in Chazdei Hashem, in the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the pity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to such an extent that even though I deserve punishment, even then, Rebbeinu Shalom, I rely on you, on your mercy. Mercy. Be'emes, it's a medrash. The medrash says on the pasuk, Rabbi machoivim lo rosho. The rosho has got many yisurim. Ve'aboteach b'Hashem chesed yosov v'venu. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. The one who trusts Hashem, the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he will be surrounded with kindness. Nothing bad will happen to him. Ve'aboteach. Says the Sifri, which is like a Mishnah, a Braise, it's Tanoim. Afilu Rosho, Aboteach Bashem. That Rosho we spoke about just before. Rabbi Machoivim Lo Rosho. That many are the Yisurim and the sufferings of the Rosho. The same Rosho, if he's Boteach Bashem, Midas Rachamim, Chesed Yesod. In other words, there is Midas Hadin. There is the strict judgment and the harshness of Midas Hadin, Elokim. And according to Midas Hadin, Take meken ishlofen ruhig. Nobody can have peace of mind. According to Midas Hadin, Gewalt. If there would be only Midas Hadin, how can we have bitochen? We can't have bitochen. Schach doinish. But the Aboteach Bashem, since I trust Hashem Yisborach, Yud Kei Vov Kei, who is merciful, the same Rosh, who is Rabbi Machoivim Lo Rosh, the same Rosh Aboteach Bashem, if he relies on the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is asking for mercy, the Rabban Shalom, you can ask for mercy, and he'll grant you mercy. Not like a judge, a boss of Odom. Chas v'shalom, someone is in court. In the end, the jury sentenced the poor person for such and such a thing, a fine, or chas v'shalom, a prison sentence, or chas v'shalom. And the end of the court case is, please, Rabbeinu Shalom, please, your judge, please, judge. How do you say, President, Mr. President? I'm asking for mercy. All right, I'm guilty. I am guilty. That's Midas Hadin. But mercy, there is Midas Rachamim. They laugh at his face. So what do you mean mercy? That is a judgment. To have mercy on all the criminals. By HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's not like that. By HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can always ask for mercy. And if you ask for mercy, He grants it. He grants it to you. That is bitochen. It's wonderful, isn't it? Of course, one has to do tshuva before. Because Rosh Aboteach Bashem, Chesed Yesovevenu, a Rosh that trusts Hashem Yisborach. Yes, he'll be surrounded with kindness. So if so, it will be too easy. Everybody would do Averes. Well, if the Rebbe Shalom sentences me for such an oynish, there's always bitochen. I'll ask for mercy. There is no such a thing. If you rely on asking mercy from the Rebbe Shalom in order to do Averes, no, that doesn't go like that. Like Oshuv ve'echte. Echte ve'oshuv. I shall sin, and then there is Yom Kippur, there is tshuva. The whole year I shall sin. When I'm heavily loaded with sins, on Yom Kippur I fast, I klap chotonu, I do tshuva. No, I've got a clean sheet until next Yom Kippur. And I can do weiter Averes. There is no such a thing. Such a person doesn't have the mechile of Yom Kippur, doesn't have forgiving for Yom Kippur, and for even if he does tshuva. Because he uses tshuva, says Rav Dessler, as a tool to do more sins. That's not the purpose of tshuva. Purpose of tshuva is to increase Yiras Hashem, not to decrease Yiras Hashem. The same we can say about bitochen. To trust Hashem in His kindness, even a Rosh Etake, but not to use this asking for mercy as a tool to lose the fear of Hashem. That's why the Pasuk says, Roitze Hashem es Yereyov. Hashem wants those who fear Him, es ham yachalim lechazdoi, and those who hope for His kindness, hope for the kindness, that is bitochen, to hope for the kindness, for mercy. But that should not decrease your Yiras Hashem. It should give you a boosted Yiras Hashem. It should give you courage, comfort, to be able to sit down and learn, to be able to daven properly. Now that you have got bitochen, now that you have got no worries, you can concentrate in learning Torah, you can concentrate in doing mitzvahs, in being cheerful, in doing chesed. You can concentrate in having kavon in tefillah. If you take bitochen, if you take the relying on the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for that purpose, and that purpose only, then we say, that's okay. But if you take bitochen, chas v'sholem, as an excuse to sin, Rebbeinu Shalom is vatren, I ask for His mercy, He'll give me His mercy, I can do what I want, nicht gefährlich. That doesn't go like that. Therefore, there is a danger in bitochen. We need fear in bitochen. That's why we understand Vayeshev. In the word Vayeshev, it's not contradictory. There can be in Vayeshev the quality of bitochen, and there can be in Vayeshev a slight relaxation on the part of Yaakov Avinu to struggle more in Avodas Hashem. How much we don't know. As we speak on the Oves HaKadoshim, we know that we're speaking microscopically. But it is printed in the Midrash so that we should learn from it. It's a lesson. It's like a moshel. Let's take it as a moshel. We are not now going to speak on Yaakov Avinu. No one will know what happened there. But if Chazal pointed out that for us, that is a lesson for us. And by us we realize, we know where we are up to. And therefore, in the word Vayeshev Yaakov, we can very well put together the two things. The quality of Yaakov Avinu, that he settled without any fear because he had bitochen, as opposite to Yosef, who was running away from Eretz Yisrael. No one wanted to harm him. And at the same time, Chazal say, Vayeshev Yaakov bikesh Yaakov leishev b'shalvo, because it's very hard to distinguish where to draw the line between bitochen and yiras Hashem. Because if you rely on the mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's very hard to be able to keep also the proper yiras Hashem, the proper demands, the proper obligations, to struggle and to realize that Odom le'omol yulad, man has been created for constant labor, to struggle in perfection, to struggle in Tikkun HaMidos, to struggle in Torah, in Avodas Hashem. And here, between bitochen and that, there is a danger that one can overgo the line. From bitochen into relaxation. Very dangerous. Once I said in Yeshia, if you remember the Medrash with the Medrash and Hashem roi lo echsor, Mizmor le David, Hashem roi lo echsor. Chazal asked, how can David HaMelech compare Rebbeinu Shalom to a shepherd? It's an insult. It's not a covet. It's not a term of covet to the Rebbeinu Shalom to call him a shepherd. Ein lecho melocho megune, umnus megune, mishel roye. You don't have worse, dirty, or not honorable at least. I wouldn't say honorable. Every job is honorable, but to compare the Rebbeinu Shalom as a shepherd, how do you understand that? How could David HaMelech say, Hashem roi, God is my shepherd. Hashem is my shepherd. Chazal asked the question. And Chazal answered, he learned it from Yaakov Avinu here in this pasuk. And that is the Medrash. So David HaMelech said, well, Yaakov Avinu called him a shepherd, also called him a shepherd, good enough for me. Well, the question is, but Yaakov Avinu, Take, he has nobody to. He coined the term shepherd. He was the first one to call Rebbeinu Shalom a shepherd. How could he dare call Rebbeinu Shalom a shepherd? Same question we can ask on Yaakov Avinu. So if we remember, I answered, there's a slight difference between how Yaakov Avinu calls Hashem a shepherd and David HaMelech calls Hashem a shepherd. If you see in the pasuk, David says Hashem Avaye, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Midas Rachamim, is my shepherd. Yaakov Avinu calls him Elokim, Midas Adin, is my shepherd. And that makes the whole difference. David HaMelech, when Chazal asked on David HaMelech, how could he dare call the Rebbeinu Shalom a shepherd? It's a bizoyon. Didn't mean it's a bizoyon because it's a bizoyon to be a shepherd. No, it's a very noble thing to be a shepherd. It is a zilzul because it might take away from his yiras Hashem. Together, by calling Hashem Yisborach Midas Orachamim, the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And with that, a shepherd that could bring David HaMelech to relax him to too much familiarity about the Rebbeinu Shalom, which will lead to a lack in yiras Hashem. That was the kavanah of Chazal when they criticized David HaMelech. And therefore, when Chazal answer, he learned it from Yaakov Avinu, or Elokim. That means with the association of Midas Adin together with Bitochen, Emunah in Midas Adin and Emunah in Midas Rachamim, and put together, then we are okay, then we are fine. Only David HaMelech wanted to teach us that Midas HaBitochen is mainly based on Midas Rachamim. That's why he said Hashem, Midas Rachamim. But you realize, since Yaakov Avinu warned us, Elokim Midas Adin, then you can have Bitochen, then I can also call him Hashem Roi. Therefore, now we can say like this. The machlekes there is, O Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov, Avrom v'Yitzchok. He's going to bench Ephraim and Menashe, Yaakov Avinu. So he's making this preface by saying, Rabbeinu shel olam, in front of whom my fathers have gone along, Avrom Yitzchok. How did they go along? Like a flock in front of a shepherd, says Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish says like the advisor of the king in front of the king. We ask, why isn't Rabbi Yochanan happy with the explanation, Reish Lakish happy with the explanation of Rabbi Yochanan? Since Yaakov Avinu calls him a shepherd for himself. Elokim oroi osi, what's wrong with a shepherd? And he says Elokim. So we might say this, that Reish Lakish wanted to point out, now I'm going to give the broches to your children. Let me warn you, all my broches I'm giving you because Avoisai, Avrom v'Yitzchok, they went in front of the Rabbeinu shel olam like advisors to the king. Like an advisor is completely devoted for the kavod of the Melech. And the Melech needs his advisor to manage his country, his land. The Rabbeinu shel olam needs the tzaddikim in his world. Because without the tzaddikim, he cannot manage the world alone. The same as a king cannot govern without advisor, without ministers, and good ministers at that. Rabbeinu shel olam cannot manage the world without tzaddikim, without the Ovos HaKadoshim. Hu tzorich lichvoidenu. And therefore realize that the brachas I'm giving to your children, they should know that is because we are the advisors of the king. And whatever we are asking from him to bench us with, it's only in order to bring forth his kavod in the world. Especially, that is the first time when Yosef HaTzadik brought his children in front of Yaakov, he said, who are these? He didn't recognize them. Chazal asked, what? He was 17 years in Egypt. And they were coming all the time. A grandfather, as grandfathers, some of us were, Baruch Hashem, grandfathers, and we don't know our grandchildren. We don't recognize our grandchildren. How is that possible that Yaakov Avinu, he sees Menashe and Ephraim, were young boys, says, Mi eile? Who are these? Chazal answer, because he saw Beruach HaKodesh, the Rashi brings, they were going to come out from Ephraim, Yerovam ben Nevat Roshe, and from Menashe, Yehu ben Nimshi, and another Roshe. Right? Rashi brings. Because those children of Yosef, amongst their children, there were going to be some Rishoyim, so he saw they were not suitable for a bracha. They were not suitable. And the Ruach HaKodesh left him. So he davened, Yosef davened, and he manages to bring back the Ruach HaKodesh. After that, Vayevorech es Yosef, Vayimah. O Elokim asher isalchu avoisai, it's a warning. Asher isalchu avoisai lefonov. And you know Rashi makes the difference between lefonov and Eso Elokim isalech Noach. Remember the difference between Avrom Avinu, it says lefonov, isalech lefonov. And by Noach it says Eso Elokim isalech Noach. The difference is because Avrom could go on his own. He could struggle on his own. He could stand on nisyonis, not like Noach who became shikar. And therefore he says, O Elokim asher isalchu avoisai lefonov, they were tzadikim gemurim, Avrom v'Yitzchok. O Elokim oroi oisi, I am not. I can't say about me O Elokim asher ishalachti lefonov, the same, compare myself to my father and my grandfather, says the Kli Yokoch. Yaakov doesn't have this chutzpah to compare himself to his fathers and say, I am a tzaddik gomo. No, Elokim oroi oisi. But I'm warning you that the brachas I'm going to give you should realize that we, the Rebbeinu Shalom, needs our covet. And therefore, the brachas I'm giving to your children, that is for the sole purpose they should use it to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. On Baruch Hashem, those brachas realized themselves, because although there were those Rishoyim, but there were also great tzaddikim that came out, Yehושע ben Nun, from Ephraim, and from Menashe. Also, therefore, the Baruch Hashem, the brachas, B'chol Yevorach Yisrael Leimor, Yesimcha Elokim K'Ephraim V'Chimenashe, the bracha we give to our children the night of Shabbos, was, in the end, it was realized with this, the brachas of Yaakov.